Daylight saving hits, and you need your morning SQUAW-fi. Today's morning SQUAW-fi is brought to you by TW Dead Daily. Actually, he did not submit the topic, but I kind of ganked it because it was really, really interesting. If Daryl or CARYL dies, he claims he does not want to watch The Walking Dead any longer. Since they're the OGs of the series, like one of three that still remain from the original cast, and he is self-proclaimed caroler, meaning Carol and Daryl, but also in terms of like just the characters themselves. If one of them gets murked off the show, he just doesn't want to watch it anymore. And now I kind of took that and said, basically, that seems a little sad, because it feels like there's more to The Walking Dead than just Daryl and Carol, isn't there? We got a wide variety of responses already. My opinion on this topic is that there is definitely much more to The Walking Dead than Daryl and Carol, and I think the exit of Rick Grimes from the main series kind of proves that. They can still have a really, really good show without the main characters, because for a long time the show has been kind of shifting away from like a main protagonist. I mean, you're talking about like as early as season 4 or 5, maybe even season 3. You start to see Rick kind of saying, you know, it can't just be about me, it has to be about us, and we have to decide together. And then he took that even further, and sometimes he took it back, you know, especially when they got to Alexandria. But what they said was clear. Like, even though he kept feeling like he had to take the power back, even when All Out War came out, it wasn't all about Rick. It was all about them deciding together what the right way forward is. And even as late as season 9, right before we see Rick Grimes disappear, even though he kind of ran the show in a sense, there was still a consensus among everybody that even though they were stretching themselves really thin, this was definitely like more of a democracy and a cooperation, and them deciding what's probably good for most people. If Daryl or Carol dies, it'll be a huge shift in the conversation of how the story moves forward. But the way I put it to somebody else was, I would definitely mourn their loss. To start, I am not a person who believes Daryl and Carol should be together romantically, but I don't begrudge people wanting that, and I don't put down anybody who does want that. But I do feel the pull that other people feel when it comes to, you know, losing them. But the difference is that I am willing to stick around for their sake if they have to go. If they have to go, I think both the character Daryl and Carol would want us to keep watching on their behalf, because if they do go, it'll be in the name and for the sake of their group. It's kind of like what Sasha Williams says to Rick in that dreamscape. You know, the sacrifices are to keep our family and the people we love moving forward, and they take that with them as they go. It's almost as if the writers are telling the audience, it has to be about more than just the main protagonist. It has to be about humanity moving forward. It has to be about the story moving forward. And in the end of the day, the biggest antagonist of the series is really the zombie apocalypse. In a sense, the house always wins. It's not about surviving the zombie apocalypse. I don't think that will ever happen. But what we can do in the meantime, and that's really, it's an allegory for life, really. The house will always win. The debt always has to be repaid. And we all expire eventually. The biggest thing that we have to take away is some sort of meaning. I'm a slave to story. I'm a slave to allegory, to parables, to parallels. I'm a slave to narrative. I'm a slave to spotting out symbolism. And yes, the characters conjure up that meaning, the way they respond to certain things and stimuli. All of that is born out of writing, out of directing, out of acting, because they're actors. And I think Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride would really want to have us continue watching for their sake, to relish in their offspring, in a sense. You know, the thing that they carried to term and that now they have to see off. And there's something special about that.
If CARYL or Daryl were not on this show, of course I'd keep watching. It'd be hard. It'd be really hard. CARYL's my favorite character right now, and Daryl's up there for me. I mean, he's one of the original players, and so that's important to me, and I like to see people who start a show, I like to see them end a show. Yeah, it'd be really hard to keep watching if they weren't on the show anymore, but I would. Of course I would. I've started this journey, and I'm going to finish it. I think that would be a really terrible move for the writers or anybody in charge to take Norman Reedus or Melissa McBride off the show. I think it would be devastating to the viewership. I mean, not me. I'm not going anywhere. How many people did we lose after Rick left? How many people stopped watching after Glenn? How many people stopped watching after Terminus? You know, people drop off all along the way for different reasons. And, I mean, are they good reasons? I mean, no. If you're invested in a show, you're going to watch it. I mean, isn't that the best part of a show? You think you know what's going to happen, and the writers, the people in charge, they're just like, nope, ha, keep you guessing. And I think that's an exciting part of a show too. You don't know what to expect. See, I watch a lot of shows that I can predict, like crime shows and stuff. I mean, if I watch 3 episodes of a crime show, on the 4th one, I've already got it nailed down, and I can already tell you who the killer is, how they did it, how they're going to catch him. They follow a pattern, and they stick to it. Walking Dead is not that. They have never been that. I mean, I've been watching this show for 10 years, and I still have no idea what to expect. Even when we do our breakdowns, we're like, okay, all right, so, you know, this happened, which means this could happen, and that opens the door for this to happen. You know, we hash it all out, and it makes total sense. And we have this, you know, basically a whole storyline written out, only to find out, nope, that's not the way they're going at all. Take Negan, for example, right now. What the hell is he doing? Well, I don't know. After Morningstar, I don't know that I can still say that with confidence. But I mean, I don't know. I still want to believe that he's gonna take Alpha's head and bring it back to us. But who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? And that's kind of the point, right? If CARYL and Daryl are gone, this show is still gonna keep me guessing and keep me on my toes. There is a factor to this show that is so appealing, and it's so much more than just Daryl or CARYL or any one relationship on this show. The best part about this show are all the relationships, right? How everybody interacts with each other. On the show, there's the TWD family, and in turn, that has created us, the viewers, as the TWD family. Just like in any other family, if we lose somebody, you know, life goes on. We're not going anywhere. And I feel the same way about Daryl and or CARYL. If we lose them, we're still a family. We're still going to push through. I'm still going to finish this thing. Walking Dead will never be gone. Sorry, folks. We're here to stay forever.
Thank you for listening. And let us know what you think. Would you keep watching if either Daryl or CARYL expired, or both? Tell us in the comments, and then maybe we'll get a conversation going. Keep a lookout for topics for week 11. You give us the topic. It doesn't have to be TWD related, and we create a video response, and hopefully that gets a conversation going. In any case, my name is David Cameo. You've listened to Morning SQUAW-fi.
Enjoy your coffee. Thanks for listening.